father is in custody along with his 17-year-old son and the boy's stepmother. They're being charged with murder of rapper PnB Rock.
Police have put pawn shops on alert about the chain and other items.
Fox 11 has learned the alleged teen gunman was just out of jail and wearing an ankle monitor.
What's good, RIZZLE fam? In late September, PnB Rock was murdered at Roscoe's House of Chicken and Waffles. He wasn't only fatally shot in the middle of the restaurant, but also robbed before that. Initially, LAPD suspected that he was just a random robbery that had gone wrong. However, after checking the evidence from the crime scene a bit deeper, they figured out that the murder of Rakin Hasheem Allen, also known as PnB Rock, may have actually been a planned hit. But why was a famous American rapper targeted in the middle of a restaurant, and why does LAPD suspect it was a planned hit? There are a couple of factors after which police realized that the incident was probably a planned hit. Let's start with the fact that the murder happened at a restaurant where there could be a lot of witnesses. So if someone had planned to just rob PnB Rock, it certainly wouldn't have been in such a public place. Another reason LAPD doubts this was just a random robbery is the fact that PnB Rock was hit after he was robbed, which is not something that typically happens in a regular robbery. But let's just say that the person who did this already had been prepared to rob and kill somebody, and not the case. The chances are that he'd just go to a restaurant to rob somebody with witnesses and video cameras around are pretty low. There are more reasons the police think that this is a planned hit. However, to get a better grasp over what happened, we're going to go a bit deeper into details from the crime scene. After walking into the restaurant, PnB Rock and his girlfriend sat down and ordered a meal. Once their meals arrived, his girlfriend Stephanie posted a story on Instagram showing not only what they ordered, but the location of the restaurant as well. Now, this is an important detail since it isn't the first time a famous rapper was targeted right after his whereabouts were made online. Very similar scenario happened to other rappers like Pop Smoke and FBG Duck. A few moments after the location of PnB Rock was posted online, a guy walked into the restaurant, came up to his table, and after that he pointed a gun at PnB Rock and demanded his jewelry. According to the witnesses around, PnB Rock tried to argue with the killer, after which he was shot multiple times. Once the person took out PnB Rock, he stole all his valuables and ran through the door and got into a car that was waiting outside. Right after the police got their hands on the evidence and surveillance videos that they tried to identify the suspect. Now that you know almost all the details from the crime scene, we're gonna get back to what police actually think the murder's all about. In the world of music, especially the hip-hop genre, quite a lot of artists have a criminal background. A lot of them, including PnB Rock, had issues with the law, did time in prison for drug possession, fighting, robberies, and a whole lot more. Not to forget that, just like many other rap artists, PnB Rock had beef with certain people. That's why the police suspect the killer could be someone PnB Rock had beef with. That wouldn't be surprising or unusual, since something like that has happened to many rappers before. The police also think that the robbery and the assassination were actually planned, and that the killers just waited for a chance to do it. The investigators started looking for clues across the whole United States, but they were primarily focused on Atlanta. The main reason is that PnB Rock spent quite a lot of time in Atlanta, and police tried to gather as many details as possible about his personal life and people he was in contact with. Believe it or not, LAPD finally confirmed that several people were arrested in connection to the murder. An unnamed 17-year-old has been arrested and is now being charged of first-degree murder. The father of the 17-year-old, Freddie Lee Trone, is currently on the run from police. That's why LAPD posted a statement online recently urging everybody who sees him to call 911. Freddie Lee Trone has been identified as being a person involved in the murder of Rakin Allen. He should be considered armed and dangerous. If you see him, you are urged to call 911 for immediate assistance. Anyone having information on the whereabouts of the suspect or anyone having additional information about this homicide is urged to contact the police. Aside from them, Chanel Trone, a 38-year-old woman, was also arrested for accessory to murder. Unfortunately, the police still haven't provided any additional information about the suspects. However, since the father of the arrested 17-year-old and Chanel Trone share the same surname, we can assume they're all most likely related. People who knew PnB Rock personally, as well as most of his fans, can agree that he had quite an inspiring story. He grew up in a pretty rough neighborhood and environment and had gone through a lot of things that made his childhood pretty difficult. However, he had done everything he could to stay on the bright side, and eventually he turned his life around only to be robbed and murdered while trying to enjoy a meal with his baby mama. That's why all his friends, fans, and family, as well as many other famous artists he collaborated with, are extremely angry and upset with what happened. Just a day after, Nicki Minaj posted a tweet expressing her feelings and opinion. After Pop Smoke, there's no way we as rappers or our loved ones are still posting locations to our whereabouts. To show waffles and some fried chicken, he was such a pleasure to work with. Condolences to his mom and family. This makes me feel so sick. Jesus. What's more, right outside Roscoe's House of Chicken and Waffles, there's now a growing memorial for PnB Rock, showing that not only his family and friends are mourning his death, but his his fans are as well. After PnB Rock's murder, the Roscoe Chicken and Waffles chain expressed their condolences to Rakim's family on an Instagram post. "We are deeply saddened by the death of Rakin Hasheem Allen, also known as PnB Rock, an incredible artist in Los Angeles and everywhere. His passing represents an enormous loss to each and every one of us." In addition to that, thousands of fans were also shocked by what happened and immediately left comments expressing sorrow and grief all over Rock's Instagram profile. "Rest easy, dog. Long live PnB Rock." Aside from his fans, quite a lot of celebrities such as rapper Lil Pump and the Dutch DJ Don Diablo also left comments expressing condolences. "RIP. Can't believe this. Speechless. Rest in peace, brother. Your talent and your music will live on forever." Seeing how literally everyone who knew him was very upset when triggered with what happened makes people that didn't know him well enough wonder, who was PnB Rock exactly? To get a better grasp of who he was and why so many people find his story inspiring, we're going to start off with his childhood. Rakin Hasheem Allen, also known as PnB Rock, was born on the 9th of December back in 1991. He lived in a Muslim family in the Germantown neighborhood of Pennsylvania. The name PnB Rock actually pays homage to a street corner where he grew up, called Pistorius and Baton. His childhood is very difficult and started off real bad, as his father was murdered when he was just about 3 years old. That's why Rock was primarily raised by his mother. First decade of his life, he lived in Northeast Philadelphia and spent most of his time listening to artists like R&B group Jodeci and rappers like Tupac. When he was about 13 years old, Rock was sent to detention program for fighting in school and committing robberies. A couple years later, right when he turned 19, Rakin was sentenced to 2 years and 7 months in prison. He was accused of committing various crimes, including drug possession. That's why PnB Rock never got to finish high school. Not to forget that he was homeless for a short period of time after he was released from prison. A couple years later, on June 24, 2014, PnB Rock released his first mixtape, Real Bangers. What's interesting is that he wrote this mixtape while he was in prison. That mixtape was the beginning of his career, and it was followed by a lot of successful mixtape albums and singles after that. Speaking of which, the single called Selfish was actually the breakthrough for PnB Rock that peaked at number 51 on the Billboard Hot 100. Not to forget that Rock had 2 daughters, one born in 2013 and the other in 2020, the latter born to Stephanie, the girl PnB Rock was with when he was murdered. But did you know that somebody had already tried to rob Rock before? PnB Rock spoke once about previous robbery attempts in the Off the Record with DJ Academics podcast. He said that he was out with his daughter and girlfriend somewhere on Fairfax Avenue.
Where I'm from, we like sneaky criminals. Like in LA, it's like they bold. I never got robbed ever in my life. I ain't gonna say never because I don't like saying never. I'm not suspicious.
But do you think that these people are the ones that killed PnB Rock? And if the answer is yes, why do you think they did it? Let us know what you think all about in the comments section below. If you like this video, make sure to check this next one out. And as always, remember to keep it RIZZLE, RIZZLE.